What do you need to do to stand apart from a hyper-competitive group of Harvard Business School applicants and get accepted? You may have watched my video on the stats that you need to get into HBS, but your test scores, grades, and career background are the table stakes. There's so much more that goes into a successful HBS application, and that's what we're here to talk about today. Years ago, I was chatting with HBS's now former admissions director, and I asked her if she hypothetically had unlimited spaces in the class, how many more people could she admit without watering down the quality? Her response was at least 50%. And yet, HBS only admits around 10% of its applicants. So what does that mean? It means that about 475 very qualified applicants won't get into the HBS class. Those applicants will ask themselves, where did I go wrong? And the answer might be, you didn't go wrong anywhere at all. You were among the 475 or so that could have easily found your place. Another thing to keep in mind, the HBS class is composed of approximately 950 students, but only around 850 of these spots are available to those who are applying via regular decision in any given year, because 100 or so have been claimed in advance by deferred admits. So it's a tough ticket. How do you get in? Let's talk about the types of applicants that do get in and the approaches you might take when putting together your application. HBS applicants tend to fall into a few different buckets. First, there is the occasional spectacular applicant that sends shivers down the spines of all other applicants because they just seem unattainably great. Think the pro athlete or aide to the president or founder of an impressive startup. But let me go back to that word unattainable, or at least almost unattainable. The average HBS admit is not doing these things. The small group is indeed spectacular, and the truly spectacular tend to end up at HBS and the Stanford GSB rather than other schools. So if you're spectacular, congrats and leverage your distinct experiences there. But if this isn't you, well, let's keep going to our second round of admits. I'll call this group distinct but attainable. You can get into HBS if you have excelled and have an inherently distinct profile. So maybe you're the rare, high-performing school administrator who applies for an MBA, or you were on the factory floor at Toyota working on the quality program, or you weren't the founder but were employee 6 at that startup that grew quickly, or you worked for the government of a foreign country in economic policy, or an NGO in administering a health program. None of these positions are impossible to reach, but these applicants will stand out. Every MBA program will have students who did some very interesting things, but HBS will have more of them than another program, and they'll have the cream of the crop. The final group of admits are those who simply did incrementally better all around, and this is important. This is the biggest group in the HBS class and very likely where you are as an applicant. In the previous spectacular and distinct groups, it's possible to get away with lower than average scores or GPAs because there's only one of you as an applicant. There's no relative pool. However, in the incrementally better group, you need every increment. If you're a PE applicant, a consultant, an Indian engineer, if you're in any group that's well represented or overrepresented in the applicant pool, you need every single advantage you can get relative to that overall pool. So you should hopefully have either an above average GPA or an above average test score or both. But that isn't enough. Your professional experience should stand out. Maybe you earned that faster promotion, or you earned a top-tier review, or you took initiative and really have something that you owned at your firm. You started a resource group at your firm, or you had an insight into a product improvement that you implemented to great success. Or maybe you did this in your community life, where you're very active. I often say that the difference between those who get into HBS and those who don't is that spirit of initiation. Have you initiated in your professional, community, and personal life? Initiation is that key incremental difference. To simplify, the remaining M7 programs, except for Stanford, get those who do their work well. HBS and Stanford get those whose impact is very clearly felt. I'll get back to that impact and initiation in a moment, but I should stop and note that in On Track, our on-demand MBA admissions course, we have 2 in-depth modules on HBS. In the first, you learn everything you need to know about HBS, who thrives at HBS, who does not, how the curriculum works, and what the job prospects are, who the alumni are, what a cold call is. It goes on. Then in the second HBS module, you'll learn how to execute on the HBS application. We do a deep dive into every aspect of the application, which I'll discuss at a high level in a moment, including your essays, resume, recommendations, short answers, interviews, all specific to HBS. You can sign up for a free plan, and start exploring the on-track content today at ontrack.mbaMission.com. Now, let's briefly chat about how to execute on your application if you are in that incrementally better pool, because a ton is riding on your execution. Indeed, it isn't enough to merely possess those increments. You must accentuate them, or better yet, have others accentuate them. Your recommendations become critical because they're the place where someone can basically say, Jeremy is better than others, and here are the anecdotes, ideally quantifiable ones, that prove he is better. You need to take advantage of every opportunity in your application itself and consider every line of your application as part of that opportunity. So don't take any shortcuts with the short answers. Make sure that when you're asked about your work accomplishments and challenges, for example, that you don't just paste bullet points in from your resume or offer the obvious aspects of your work. You need to share new information and help round out the AdCom's picture of you. Similarly, your resume needs to tell a complete story, the story of initiation. So make sure that you have a professional, academic, and community or leadership section on your resume, as well as a brief personal section. Make sure that your resume is easily scannable and that every bullet is its own brief story that adds to your mosaic. Of course, your essays are a critical piece of the puzzle as well. Your essays are your opportunity to really broaden the admissions committee's conception of who you are. With 3 essay prompts, you have a significant opportunity to really grab the attention of the admissions committee. And the best way to do that is to keep the reader learning. As your reader progresses through your essay set, they need to be thinking, wow, I just learned about another very interesting experience. You want them to remember you the next day. This is not about writing in a distinct way. This is instead about having strong core experiences and truly understanding your own motivations for pursuing them, learning from them, growing, and changing. Together, your short answers, resume, recommendations, and essays become your core application, and they allow you to manifest and subtly impress without bragging. They allow for the incrementally better to reveal those increments and succeed. Most applicants are vexed by the HBS essays, and I only scratched the surface in this video. If you want to learn more and take a much deeper dive into the HBS essays, please check out our next video now.